Hello, my K-Drama Chingu. Today we are doing the bonus episode of the K-Drama podcast where I talk about all the dramas I watched in 2025 and do a full tier list ranking of them. The tier list ranking, for those that can't visually see it, is I have number 1 being the masterpiece, 2 outstanding, 3 excellent, 4 very good, 5 good, 6 decent, 7 meh, 8 letdown, 9 dud, 10 not for me. I'm excited to give my thoughts on the K-dramas, but I do feel like we need to talk about them a little bit as well, especially Dynamite Kiss, because frankly, in my final podcast episode, I had been dragging my heels in watching it, and I did finish it, so we might have a mini K-drama review on Dynamite Kiss when we get to that one. But yeah, let's get into it. The year goes by so quickly, so it was nice seeing all of the K-dramas, and like as I see them all together, like wow, some interesting comparisons to be made, some definite trauma, some great K-dramas, ones that are really thanks to the patrons, because I don't think I would have watched them without it being voted on. But yeah, lots and lots of interesting things to say. Let me also get my drama list up. So that is up. All right, let's get the picker wheel going. Let's get into the tier listing. Okay, we're gonna spin. I have it to stop it. Okay, what do we got? All right. Oh man. So first up is When Life Gives You Tangerines. I can't believe that that was actually this year. When Life Gives You Tangerines. Such a great K-drama. First and foremost, I don't remember what I voted on. Oh yeah, I gave it a 10-star. So that tells you something. Oh my gosh, I think this one probably made me cry the most. And then we had Typhoon Family. That one also made me cry, but I think that this one might have made me cry the most. I'm gonna have to like go back and really think about it. But no, this was a tear jerker and the most romantic green flag boy and the girl that he just like loves instantly. And also the actors in this were fantastic. Like When Life Gives You Tangerines, it was definitely one of the best dramas this year, and I do think that it is masterpiece level. It spoke to me on so many levels. It was 16 episodes. This one aired on Netflix, and it was just so romantic and so sweet. IU is playing several characters. You know, she plays the mother who's young, and then the daughter, Park Bo-gum, Moon Sori, and then Park Hae-jun, like playing the father when they're older. Park Bo-gum, I would say, definitely had a pretty good year in 2025. He was in 2 K-dramas. He was in When Life Gives You Tangerines and Good Boy, which I watched both. So I'm excited to see what he does in 2026. IU, same for her projects, what does she have coming out? So she has The Perfect Crown coming out. She only did 1 K-drama in 2025, and that was When Life Gives You Tangerines, and I think she knew that was gonna be some trauma. Spinning, which one are we gonna talk about next? Dear Hongrang. Okay, definitely a melodrama. Definitely not my fave of faves. I gave it a 7 out of 10 in my voting. Though I will say Lee Jae-wook's character, hot. The action is there. I love a good period piece. Jo Bo-ah's character, people kept like swinging knives at her. And I'm like, can we not aim the knives at her? Let's aim the knives at the other people. A lot of like story gaps, I would call it. So yeah, definitely rushed. I mean, it was 11 episodes, which odd number. That gives me an odd feeling. And, you know, I liked the mystery. The romance was there, even though it was like, you're not my brother, you are my brother, you're not my brother. That was a little much. I really did actually like that our main lead, bad things do happen to him at the end of this one. So it's like, if you're looking for a fully happy ending, that you're not going to find that in this. But I think that Lee Jae-wook and Jo Bo-ah, the chemistry, it gets a little spicy in this one, and I truly enjoyed it for that. But some story gaps. You know, who the villain was ended up not shocking me too much. I was, you know, kind of like, oh, let's go interview the first person. Let's not even go there with them, even though it's always the first person you interview. Like, have you not watched a cop drama ever? And I feel like, I hope I'm not, like, putting it down too much, because it was a good action thriller K-drama. But like when I'm looking at these other K-dramas that I watched and like really comparing it to those, did I like love it the most? No. I'm gonna say that it was a decent K-drama. It's going in a 6. She was decent. I'm glad I watched her, but decent. Like, there's other K-dramas in that historical melodrama vibe that I would definitely recommend over it too from other years. But in the grand scheme of 2025, all right, next one, The Trauma Code, Heroes on Call. This one we watched either together. It's definitely like archived on the Patreon. The surgeries and it is trauma, so there was a lot of just mangled people, a lot of bad stuff in that regard, but overall it had a weird sense of humor. It was actually pretty funny. The characters, the actors in the show, I think really the dynamics were really fun. But yeah, the traumas were traumatic. It starts off with this guy coming into the hospital and just like flipping everything on its head, and just, his crazy background with secret military and everything else. He likes saving people, but I think he also likes the aftermath of saving people. But him with all the photos of the people that he saved, he was like, we're taking this photo, and then using that to sort of get other people on his team, even though he really doesn't care about those people all that much. He's just like, I saved your life, I'm taking a picture of you. Like, he's not as empathetic and sweet as you would expect somebody in that line of work to be. So it's hard. Yeah, it's very funny. Chu Young-woo's character is so funny with being kind of the young up and coming one that he trains up. Yoo Kyung-ho's character, he is apparently a main role. I really hated him at the start. If I saw a doctor freak out as hard as this character freaked out, being also a doctor, I'd be like, I don't want this man as my doctor. Because some stuff happens to his daughter, which is really, we love a good girl dad. But that was some annoying stuff. And also the trauma stuff kind of was up there with Hyper Knife. It was very gory. What did I end up rating this one to? I don't remember. I gave it a 9 out of 10, even though I was just talking so badly about it. But in the grand scheme, I'm not a big medical drama watcher. I have watched a few. It's not right up my alley, but I will say that it was a very good K-drama. I liked the length of it. I liked the comedy. The trauma was traumatic, okay, which I think it was meant to be, but I had to dock at some points for just making me go a couple times. I might be exaggerating. There was like a 40-car pileup episode. That was terrible, which that's real. It's terrible that truly happens, and that's based off of life, but ugh. Okay, next spin, stopping. All right, The Queen Who Crowns Before Sunrise. So this was just a bonus episode, but I did watch it because I needed their love story too, based off of everything. And I'd say for just a bonus episode, it was relatively good. I really loved it. I'm kind of here for the romance anyway. And I gave it an 8. So I'm going to put it in the good category. All right, we're spinning, we're stopping. Okay, woo, Undercover High School. This one I watched offline, so there's no reaction of me, but I really liked Undercover High School. I was not expecting it to be so good. One, the premise can be a little irksome for me, Undercover, him going and playing a high schooler, it's always but I would say that Shinrock, she shook me as sort of the villain of this. She was also a mother of one of the students and the principal, and her just darkness towards the end, damn. This was a action comedy romance crime. I would definitely say that the comedy is there. Seo Kang-jun, I forget how funny he is. He's so funny in this, also so cute, so charming. And then we have Jin Ki-ju, who I love her, low-key. I feel like I watch a lot of K-dramas with her in it. I watched her in My Perfect Stranger in 2023. I will say, the ending and the villain kind of final throwdown was honestly very scary. It kind of went darker than I was expecting it to, so that was kind of a shock. I rated it an 8.5 when I had last reviewed this, which I believe that. But where would I put it on the tier list? See, what's interesting is because I put The Trauma Code and very good, I feel like I can't put this one in excellent, but I feel like I'm going to. This was an excellent K-drama to me. And it was a nice cop drama, which, it's always interesting. All right, we have Spun. Okay, Tastefully Yours, Tastefully a Surprise. I loved the food in that one. I was a big food year in 2025 for me. Lots of good food things. And a bit of a surprise, I would say that the romance between Kang Han-nul and Go Min-chi, one, she dazzled to me. And also shooketh that Kim Shin Rock is also in this, and she plays like the sweetest bestie, like helper, works at the restaurant with Go Min-si. I can see why Kang Ha-neul would fall in love with Go Min-si's character. I see that. I don't see why she would fall in love with him. Especially when we get a flashback to like her ex-boyfriend. My guy. But I thought this was a surprisingly sweet K-drama though. And I remember liking the length. I think this was, it was 10 episodes. And this one came out in May and ended in June, and it was a Monday, Tuesday. And I watched it on Netflix, and I loved the supporting cast. It was cute. It was a cute K-drama. I did give it a 7.5 because, the romance and, like, the stuff with our main guy was just, I don't know if that was really forgivable, what he intended to do, what ended up happening. And I think he did make up for it. But I do love how he kind of just, like, followed her off into the woods, like in the first episode, and just the introduction to her food and then the food adventures. I think it was a very fun, cute romance. So I'm gonna put it in the good section, mostly because of the guy. I think you should give it a go if you like food, if you're looking for like a restaurant, because the main female lead, I think she did a fantastic job. Yes, the romance was cute. I wouldn't have chosen him. The way that the food stuff was involved. Also, like what the guy was doing was absolutely terrible. But yes, I've spun the spinner. I'm now stopping it. Oh my God. Okay, Pump Up the Healthy Love. Definitely one of the weirder K-dramas I watched in 2025. If I were going to be like, when I say that law dramas and cop dramas are not my thing, healthy workout, what would you even call this? Fitness K-dramas? What do we call this? It's a comedy romance, but it's like a fitness male lead or personal training, any sort of body image type of K-drama like this, I get real about, okay? And this was, again, one of the weirder K-dramas that I watched. I did like it, but the humor was really funny. The romance, I don't know what was going on there. And also, it was just so disjointed. Its humor was really out there. Lee Jun-young's catchphrase of what the fat, which then started spreading out and then being like, what the cat? What the Rufus? What the everything? The what-thas can stop. The what-thas need to go away. I was so annoyed with what-thas by the end of the series. But it had Jong Eun-ji in it and Lee Jun-young. Lee Jun-young was really funny. I think his character was just really too quirky for me. But also Jung Eun-ji's character, I loved her. You know, we had some foodie moments in that one, but I think we could have had more. I wouldn't call this a letdown. I'm going to call this, for me, a meh drama. What did I end up rating this? I gave it a 6.5, so that is kind of meh status, in my opinion. You know, some people really liked it and thought it was really funny. I was just not one of those people. Like, I watched it, I finished it. I was like, oh, that's an interesting ending. But it did have some really funny scenes and really funny moments. It's just the storyline was not what I was expecting. And I think it's just because I had different expectations for the K-drama, even though I really went in not understanding what it was going to be about. But I do like the final outcome that, you know, she's still very good looking. And also she did not look fat at the start of it. So that was another thing. It's just the body image and body shaming in Korea is just so much for me. So I called it a meh. But that is where Pump Up the Healthy Love is landing. Next is The Queen Who Crowns. Okay, I really enjoyed this drama. It still gives me chills thinking about it. I loved the strong female lead, okay? Everything that goes down, the intrigue, the romance, the politics, I was here for it. Like Cha Ju-young, mwah, mwah. Lee Hyun-wook, we could do without him, okay? He was a good king, you know, once he started listening to his wifey. But I really liked it. I thought that Cha Ju-young did a fantastic job. What did I rate it? I rated this an 8.5 when I ranked it. When I guess I last talked about it. I love a good historical drama as well, so I'm actually going to put this in the excellent category with Undercover High School. I really liked that one. I mean, it hit all the buttons. Also, it has some schmexy scenes. The romance, the intrigue, and like Lady is just in the background and sometimes in the foreground and in the front, just taking names and making sure her king is doing the right thing. Even if he does try to like end things. But I like that they also come back together. You know, like, yeah, our relationship got a little rocky there because of me becoming king and just getting my head full up my ass. But I've come back to the realization that you were right, wifey. So I like how it all kind of came together. But yeah, there were some tense moments, I have to say. I was like, oh God, I'm frightened. I'm frightened. But I also liked the ending too. I think everything was like just a sweet ending overall. Okay, we're stopping the wheel. All right. Genie, make a wish. So definitely one of my more favorite ones just due to its fantasy aspect. Like if this were in book form, oh, you would have me. I would be there for it immediately. I still have not looked up if there are genie romances. I know there have to be. I just have not looked them up. But yeah, Kim Woo Bin being Mr. Genie, Iblis, Genie, whatever you want to call it. Bae Suzy playing the psychopath. Like, everything was great. Yeah, the random fight scenes between Kim Woo Bin and Steve No's character, who plays like a Grim Reaper angel kind of character. Yeah, Elijah, Edgelil, I don't know. But either way, you know, he hung around people about to die and took care of that. Shepherded their souls to heaven or hell or wherever you want to believe you go. I really liked it. I liked the ending. It was 13 episodes, so kind of downer. I think I docked a point due to the 13 episodes. Also, I docked a mental point because Grandma, even though Grandma was like age reversed, does not make it through the K-drama. Damn it. I really thought that wish was gonna like guarantee Grandma being alive. The small low-key lesbian romance between Eunjin and Lee Ji-young, I don't know. Was that there? Was that just me? I kind of was low-key waiting for them to kiss. But yeah, I gave that a 9 ranking and I stand by that. Okay, so where would I put it on the tier list? I'm actually going to put it in number 2 slot, outstanding. I really liked it. I tier it. It's outstanding, in my opinion. Oh, Bon Appetit, Your Majesty. Besides the very huge plot hole on how our boy makes it to present day, I love this K-drama. I'm actually rewatching it slowly but surely with a friend of mine who has not watched it. And okay, one, if you were a foodie, this is like the K-drama to watch, okay? Because not only is there like such good food, it's also it's also like an historical timeline, but it's like also a chef competition every 2 episodes, and the food shots, the final shots, the editing. Everything about this K-drama to me was so fun and fantastic. And also it had a 12 episode. I could have done with 16. Maybe they could have 2. I hear that there is a clip or something out there explaining how our boy gets to the present day. I need to find it and watch it. But this has Lim Yoo-na and Lee Chae-min, as well as Kang Han-na, who she plays the villain, and I did love her in it. She looked beautiful and fabulous. She did not grow. She did not get too bad of comeuppance, in my opinion. I mean, she was there, but they did not utilize her properly. But the romance between Lim Yoo-na and Lee Chae-min, I heart it so much. Oh, and also Lee Chae-min is kind of now, he is on my radar, okay? Boy has been doing a good job, but now I'm like, we need to follow him a little closer. His take on our tyrant king and how funny he is in this role. And also Lim Yoo-na is also hilarious, and her in the bestie scenes, she and her together are so cute. I loved it so much. I love this K-drama. I'm obviously rewatching it. I did give it a 9.5. I would have made it a 10, except they just really, they really did not stick the landing on the ending. But I honestly, like the writers kind of mentioned through Lim Yoo-na's character of like, how did he get here? We're not going to question it. Okay, we got them together. It's a happy ending. That's all that should matter. And that's all that any of us really want. So in that regard, I'm going to call this an outstanding K-drama, because also the editing alone, the food shots, and then the editing of like how they're experiencing the food, so funny, but also so like that takes a lot of editing time and creative juices that I just really respect. And K-dramas in general, just their cinematography is always just like, they are the gold standard. Where are we going? Oh yeah, The Haunted Palace. This one kind of involved a dragon. to a degree. I thought it was a good K-drama. This was one where I felt like the romance did fall flat, but I enjoyed the ride. Was it like the best K-drama of the year? No, sadly not. There's definitely been some better fantasy, romance, historical K-dramas that I've watched, but it was good. It was 16 episodes, which maybe that's kind of where it went wrong for me, but it had Yuk Sung Jae, who he's getting there in his career in my mind. I know he's been in a lot of stuff that I've watched, and all those K-dramas I've been a little meh about. Yeah, like I tried to watch The Golden Spoon. I never even added it to anything because I didn't even make it through the first episode. I liked him in Mystic Pop-Up Bar. So it's like he's been in a good amount of stuff, but I've just been like meh about his character. But Bona, I was there for Bona. I'm here to support Bona in anything and everything she does. I'm a huge fan of hers. She's so cute. And I liked her character in this. She was a very strong, powerful shaman girl who's just kind of haunted by, what is he? I'm reading the premise again. An Imugi, who he's got some beef with her, but then that beef turns into love when he takes over the body of the guy that she has a huge crush on. So it kind of all works out. But yeah, the premise was good. The fantasy was good, but it wasn't the best. And I gave it a 7 out of 10 in the ranking. So where on the tier list would I put this? I'm going to put it as a good K-drama. We're putting it in the good category for this one. Now on to the next. When the Stars Gossip. One of the wilder K-dramas I watched in 2025. That is for sure. I was definitely watching it for the main leads. I feel like their romance was really great. That whole K-drama was so much. And 16 episodes, which also felt like so much. I gave it a 7.5. I think the premise was really weird and funny and interesting. And I will say the comedy romance was there. But it was just the premise and his whole end goal and going up there and the whole saving the sperm and just all of that really, really over the top. I think that Lee Min-ho and Gong Kyu-jin, they can act, especially Gong Kyu-jin, who I feel like this was her first K-drama in a really long time. And what a one to pick, okay? I liked her character in this, but I feel like they did her very dirty. And Lee Min-ho's character, he's one of my favorite actors. I still love him so much. But yeah, When the Stars Gossip, I'm going to put this, I'm going to be real. I know I gave it a 7.5, but I'm going to give this a letdown. This was a bit of a letdown for me. It was too out of this world, too spacey. And we had a Genie romance this year. For me to be the space one's really out of pocket. It was a little much. Also, I think who were the writers for this one? I know that the writers or directors involved have done some really amazing stuff, which was another reason. I'm trying to look them up. Park Shin-woo. Yeah, they did. He did Unwritten Seoul, Love Struck in the City. He's done a lot of K-dramas that I've watched and loved. So I was like, all right, we're here for this guy too. I put it there. That's my choice. That's what I'm saying. All right, we're spinning and we're stopping. Dynamite Kiss. Okay, I'm glad that we finally got to Dynamite Kiss. I did finish the last 2 episodes, so we're going to do a little ranking while we also decide where we're going to tier list this one, because I have not ranked it yet on my drama list. The last 2 episodes, the very last episode, I can see why it set so many people off. This one was 14 episodes. It was a comedy romance, and the premise to the end, honestly, the start of it, I really did love Jong Ki-young's character as well as An Hoon-jin. Their romance, their on-camera chemistry, okay? I did not realize Jong Ki-young could be so cute and then so cold stone face character. He is just model hot. So to think that he could be so cute and laugh and just the joy that you see in his face when he smiles in this, and the romance between those two, he's way funnier than I was expecting. I think I just forgot how funny he is if he has done another comedy. But these two together were great. I will say, and I mentioned this in the last podcast, An Hoon-jin's character, I think she was really cute, bubbly, very funny. Some of the scenarios that happened due to where she was working and the drama in the office. I was like, can we give a girl a break? Okay. A little too much like, oh no, you need to rescue me vibes. I feel like she does handle her own stuff eventually. But yeah, it's just like, why does this keep happening to this poor girl? You know? Yeah, the last episode, I don't know what the writers were doing. They really did not stick the landing. Very disappointed in it. But if you can get over it, if I can just pretend like none of that happened and we just focus on the cute happy ending and not the, I'm gonna spoil things, not the coma, car wreck, memory loss until the last 10 minutes of the last episode of this one. Oh my God. I don't even know how many points I want to mentally dock for that BS. Dynamite Kiss writers, I know you're stressed, but like I don't think our boy deserved getting hit by the car. Like, it was the whole thing, whole situation, getting hit by the car by the villain main lead who barely surfaced that he was the one behind everything. Like, he hid behind our boy's sister for, like, way too long, hitting him with the car, and then he gets into a coma, and then, of course, he gets amnesia, that where he can't remember anything, he only remembers he needs to get to Jeju, and that's where they met. So it's like, oh, great. Oh, great. So that was really disappointing and really painful. Like, damn, that sucks. But once he gets his memories back and, like, he comes to win her over again, I think that stuff was so cute. Okay, I really did love that. I loved getting our jealous boy vibes, those moments. If we just forget, if we try to forget that happened, I think it was a great K-drama. But I do have to dock a lot of points for that utter bullshit of episode 14. Oh my God. Painful to think about. I am going to give it an 8 because I did really like it. I liked the story, the music, the romance. Like, I got to support our girl. In the tier list, though, I am going to call this, I don't want to say letdown status. I'm going to say that it was a decent K-drama because I need to put it pretty low based just for the dumping of that trauma in the last fucking episode. Nobody deserves that. Nobody does. Not in a show like this. So we're putting it in decent. But I do say watch it. Just be prepared that you're going to be pissed off in the final episode. Like, my God. Like, I really drug my feet waiting. So yeah, it was not completed in 2025. It was completed in 2026. Okay. Oh, Love Scout. Oh my gosh. Love Scout. Like, drool Scout. Another green flag, father, single dad. It's hard to make a hot single dad that isn't kind of still a jerk. I loved Love Scout. I gave it a 9.5. I loved our cold businesswoman, romance life drama. I think Ha Ji Min and Lee Jun Hyuk. Also, the relationship in the kiss, she kind of instigates it. I like I wouldn't even call it role reversal, but I do like her strong female, we're adults here, and I like you, and he had already kind of told her that he liked her, but he waited for her to make the first move officially. I loved it. The drama, I was like, okay, ooh, yeah, that is dramatic. Ooh, office drama, but like the headhunter office theme, I'm like, whatever about it. Okay. Those two, their stories, their love. If I were going to put it in romance terms, one of my favorite romances of 2025. I think the acting, the story, also the little girl of our main lead. Like, oh my God. I think back to so many scenes with her and then him, and then the backstory when that unfolds and how he took time off because his daughter was struggling. I don't have daddy issues. I don't. I had a good father, so it's like seeing a loving father, just like man deserves love. So I'm actually going to put this in the very good category. I am going to put Love Scout in a very good category. We are calling it a very good one. Definitely recommend. It's cute. Like, yeah, the scenes are just schmixy too. Like, we're adults here, but it's still PG. PG adults. Okay, Dear X. Dear X was another pretty wild K-drama that I watched. It had a wild ending, it had a wild beginning, and a wild middle. The melodramiest of the melodramas of the year. Like, this took melodrama to a max. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Its ending, what happens to the characters, devastating. Was only 12 episodes. Would I watch a season 2? No. I don't need to see what happens to her. They left it kind of open-ended, but also really fucked up open-ended, and I'd be like, okay, it's time to just go hide in the hills. Let's just go hide in the hills. But if you are a thriller, kind of like to watch the more effed up of K-dramas, you would probably like Dear Ex. Like, it will blow your mind. So in that regard, I am going to call it a very good K-drama. Very good, but not my cup of tea. But I wouldn't say not for me, because there were like parts and I really liked the characters. Our female lead, who plays the kind of the sociopath, Kim Yoo-jung. Oh, she's played such sweet, wholesome characters, and this character just, I'm so frightened, but also so attracted to her. And then Kim Young-dae, Kim Do-hoon's character, I should not have got attached. Do not get attached to any of these men. Don't get attached. Maybe to her husband, but I wouldn't want to get attached to that either. Wild K-drama. And this one was on Viki. And the biggest of the melodramas that I watched this year. Like, if we're going with melodramas, like, damn. This show took it to places every episode that I was like, what the fuck? Also, some good surprises, though, and things unfold that made me feel a little better about the character. I feel like the whole show did her so dirty. Spirit Fingers, I watched randomly because somebody on TikTok liked it, and I respect this person and their thoughts. So I was like, okay, let's give it a go. And yeah, I freaking loved it. It's kind of a coming of age youth comedy romance. Cho Jung-young really took me by surprise. I didn't know what to expect from his character, but his character was very funny, but also very sweet and endearing, and I would say a good first boyfriend for our character Park Ji-hyo. I do feel like they waited really last minute to throw in all of the family trauma that our poor Park Ji-hyo has been dealing with. I mean, there's some domestic violence involved also that I'm like, are we okay with this? No? Yes? Maybe so? Like, let's get this dad out of here. The mom's not any better. I gave this an 8.5 because something that I also really appreciate about K-dramas is, like, you know, getting you as the person really emotionally involved in the character, but also growing with them, and like the empathy that's there for the characters, I think I enjoy. So like crying, I love to cry. I'm a terrible crier, but like Spirit Fingers got me at the end. I'm putting Spirit Fingers in the excellent. I'm going to say that it was an excellent K-drama. The happy ending was not like, oh, we're getting married, but it was a coming of age, like next for the future, things are going to get better. It can only go up from here. And I really like that. And I guess this was also based off of a webtoon. Tempest. Okay. Tempest was one of the more action-packed K-dramas I watched in 2025. The main lead, I really knew nothing about him. Smoldering, hot. The chemistry that Kim Dong-won and Jin Ji-hyun had, I loved the length. Okay, it was 9 episodes. And this really was up in the action scale of like Mission Impossible. We also have John Cho in this, which is so random, but I do like him in this. I really liked it. The action scenes did give me a little bit of anxiety. I don't know how our girl stayed so cool, but that is something I respected about her character. The budget was there for this one, okay? And the mystery behind everything, the politics, I liked it, okay? I was like, holy shit. But yeah, heart palpitations. If you have a weak heart, be careful. It might give you a lot of anxiety. But yeah, I'm going to call this I'm torn between excellent and very good. I'm going to put it in the excellent category. And what did I rank it? Yeah, I gave it an 8.5. So, okay. Would You Marry Me? Cute K-drama. Romance is there. Ending did have a wedding, so yay. The start of it was just so cringe for me. How she sits on the cactus. I'm just like, what a way to meet someone. I would be like, there really is no coming back from that. But she somehow came back from it and he fell in love with her. Only Jung So-min could pull that off. Okay, I really believe that. I think that the romance was really nice between her and Choi Woo-shik. I think I said this in the podcast episode. I was worried I wasn't gonna like the romance there, but I was there for it. It was just the ending stuff. You know, at least there was no coma. No amnesia. It was 12 episodes. I think it could have been shorter, frankly. But I thought it was cute, quirky. I was looking for a romance. The comedy was really good. The characters, the story was good. I really did feel bad for our main lead at the very, very end, because obviously there's like a villainous uncle secretly stealing from the company, which is a big no-no. I'm going to call it a very good K-drama. I did want to dock points for like the evil stepmother-in-law, like from her ex's side of the family. Just her ex in that family. Way Back Love. Okay, Way Back Love had Gong Myung in it and Kim Mina, who she was also in Typhoon Family that I watched in 2025. And this was a romance youth fantasy melodrama. And it was 6 episodes, so short and sweet. Watched this one on Viki. And this was definitely recommended by the patrons. And it just didn't win the vote, so I watched it offline. Okay, when I say I didn't know what to expect, I definitely cried. I liked the length. And for 6 episodes, I really, really fell in love with these characters. And Kim Mina, like, I legit was worried for her at the start of this show because she's very depressed. You know, she's having a tough go at life. And the fantasy aspect of it is it's Gong Myung. He's technically a Grim Reaper, and he knew her when he was alive. And she pops up on his list, which means she's gonna die soon. And I think it says how she dies, which I think she was gonna unalive herself. He knows her destiny, so he tries to fight it anyway. Such a sweet, heartfelt, sad story. And I guess it's adapted from a novel called A Week Before I Die. I didn't know what to expect, but it was really fantastic. Kim Mina, she's fantastic. And I can't wait to see what she does next. I loved her in Typhoon Family as well. She's just also very beautiful with her freckles, and she's just a little different from the usual K-drama beauty standards. And I really love that about her. I think she is just dynamic and beautiful and just a great actor. The story is so sad. Also, Gong Myung. Oh, he was in Lovers of the Red Sky. Wait. Okay. Well, I really liked him in Way Back Love. I think that their romance was, sad. Very sad. But also sweet. It was just a different type of K-drama. I also like the length. It is a melodrama though, but I'm going to put it that it was a good K-drama. All right, spinning, stopping. Good Boy. I have to say that Good Boy was probably one of the most disappointing K-dramas that I watched in 2025, sad to say. It had all the elements of being a fantastic K-drama. The budget, the actors, the storyline. The story I really liked, but it just, I don't know what happened. It was 16 episodes. I watched this one on Prime Video, and it just lost its way. And I don't know if there was something going on off camera with Taewon Suk's character, but his character just kept disappearing. And it was oh, he's got to go be with his family. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? They also, Kim So-hyun, she was the baddest of the badasses in this group, in my opinion. And they could have done so much more with her character. But I think because Park Bo-gum is in this, he was kind of the main attraction, people thought. I was here for Kim So-hyun after, a couple episodes. And Oh Jung-se's character, he's playing the villain in this. His character was so annoying. It's why won't you die? It was one of those things. Man, how is he getting away every time? It's so frustrating. The action, though, fantastic. The fight scenes were crazy, good. The budget was there, but again, so I'm going to put it actually as a letdown. I'm going to put it on the 8 that it was a letdown to me. I don't even know, even with the fight scenes and everything, I don't know if I would recommend it. I really don't. Kind of want to forget I watched it sometimes, which is terrible. All right, we're spinning, we're stopping. Squid Game Season 3, which this one I did watch, and there are reactions of me watching it on the Patreon. Oh, I'm glad it's over. I think the ending was fine. Oh yeah, what did I end up ranking Good Boy? I ranked Good Boy a 6, and I stand by that. Squid Game, I think I ranked pretty high. I gave it a 7.5. I think the ending was poignant. I'm glad that, because there is a baby in season 3, I'm glad that they didn't kill the baby. I think if that happened, I probably would have been well, I'm not finishing this. I'm out. Because after everything else that got fucked off in one of the most fucked up K-dramas. And of course it got 3 seasons. But at least Taxi Driver also got 3 seasons, which we're watching on Twitch right now. I'm giving it a good. It was a good K-drama. It's just really not one that I would have ever searched out for, but it was so popular at the time. And it was one I could watch with Evan because he loves murdery, just bloody shows. One of the most fucked up K-dramas. There's Old Boy, which is a K movie movie that came out forever ago. That was when I knew Korea does not fuck around. But then I found the wholesome things in Korea, like the romances, and I'm like, okay, this is fine. This is great. I love it here. Let's stay here forever. Okay, also, Weak Hero Class Season 2. We finished that one in 2025, and I loved it. I loved the introduction to, I guess, the characters that most people know about from the webtoon, because I guess Season 1 was really more like the story of before, like how one of the main characters this season to the characters from the webtoon, if I understood things correctly. Park Ji-hoon, scary as hell, okay? Like the dead eyes in the pencils, he did great again. The fight scenes were crazy. I think Lee Jun-young, I always forget he's in it, but he plays a villain. I ranked it a 9. I'm remembering things now from scenes, and really, really, I loved Weak Hero Class. Weak Hero Class 2. So Weak Hero Class, I'm going to put in the excellent category, or a tier list. Oh, how did it up? Okay, well, somehow I put it up there already twice. Don't remember, but I guess I thought about that already, and Weak Hero Class 2 is excellent. That's really funny. I don't know when I did that. Anyway, we're spinning, and we're stopping. Typhoon Family, which I just finished, and we watched this on Twitch together. I didn't really know what to expect from the K-drama, but I loved it. I loved the era right before Y2K and learning a little more about the Korean economic crisis, because that's when this takes place. Also, Lee Jun-ho. Hello, I love him so much. Kim Min-na. And I did give this a 10 rating. And is it up there, though, with, like, the heartfeltness of when life gives you tangerines? Frankly, I kind of want to say yes. But I'm going to actually leave it. Do I want to call it a masterpiece? I feel like there's really can only be one real masterpiece. I would say it is an outstanding K-drama. I think some people were under the impression that because it's like an office thing, it was going to be boring. No. We got guys getting arrested in Thailand in this one. And the comedy and the drama, just everything mingles so well together. And I definitely believe it's because of the cast. It's because of the writing. The romance between Lee Jun-ho and Kim Min-na and just his character green flagness. It's a character that does not exist, but I wish he did. Like, he checks all the boxes and is super hot. I am low-key so jealous of Kim Min-na throughout the whole show because I'm like, man, I want him to be my man so bad. So yeah, outstanding for me. Respectfully. Okay, My Dearest Nemesis, cute romance, interesting premise. The maturity level of our boy was just a little too immature for me. Like, I'm fine with him enjoying anime and that sort of thing. I am also an anime girly. Though I did enjoy how they met and the sort of enemies to lovers premise of it. I don't know. I think Moon Ka-young is such a great actor, and I think Choi Hyun-wook, he just needs a little more work. He needs to work on it a little more, but I think his character was really good. Like, I definitely teared up during a lot of his scenes, and like his family trauma, like Grandma was pissing me the fuck off in this one. I remember being so pissed at this grandmother. I gave it a 7. I think the romance was good, but it was just so peachy. Could we add a little spice to this, okay? Just a little more spice. But no. So I would say that it was a decent K-drama, but in like the 2025 grand scheme of watching things, like it was decent in comparison to all the other ones I watched. The Potato Lab! Okay, I love potatoes. Also, I love a strong, feisty female, which we definitely had one in the Potato Lab. I think our male lead and female lead, I think the romance was there. The comedy was there. But I would say it was like an okay K-drama. So this was 12 episodes, and it was on Netflix. Oh, the ex-boyfriend situation for when her company gets bought by this other company, and then Kang Tae-ho comes in to, like, basically try and fire everybody. It was one of those takeover things, but for like a chip company. So like we're talking about the final result from these potatoes being potato chips, which I love a good potato chip, don't get me wrong. The fact of him like living out there and that interaction and how that went about, I liked her character. I liked her stubbornness. I really respected that. Kang Tae-ho's character was actually low-key way funnier than I was expecting. And how the village went after him, I was like, oh damn, this is gonna be fun. I think what did I I rank this? I ranked this an 8 when I last spoke about it. But after all these other K-dramas that I've watched, I'll put it in the good category because it was a good K-drama and I did enjoy it. And the premise was really funny. And I felt really bad for our girl, and her ex-boyfriend could he just stop? Okay. He was so annoying. All right, we're spinning and we're stopping. I loved her brother too. Her brother was really good. Okay, Hyperknife. Hyperknife had me seeing our female lead in a totally different light. Girl can do any role, in my opinion. And I really liked it. Even though it was very intense. And I would say the things that like are revealed at the end were kind of like, well, goddamn, why didn't we just get there sooner? But it was 8 episodes, and it stars Park Eun-bin, who she plays a bonkers brain surgeon, who she loves doing brain surgery so much. She literally, there's a line, and I've wholeheartedly believed her character when she was like, put me in jail, where all I do every day is I wake up, someone gives me breakfast, and they put me to work doing surgeries all day, and then they put me back in my cell. She's like, I am fine going to jail if like all I'm doing is surgeries all day. Like, that's wild to me, but that's why it's called Hyperknife. Her character felt legit and also is a murderer, and she did great at it. So Kyung-gu just gave me the creeps every episode, even though he was trying to like hide what a psycho he truly was. So that was an interesting development. Yoon Chan-young, he helps out Park Eun-bin, and also she did brain surgery on him. Like, the dynamics between the characters are really interesting. I don't really remember how this ended. Oh wait, yes I do. Crazily. But yeah, Hyperknife, I think I'm gonna put it as a very good K-drama, but it was a lot. Not up there in a lot in my mind as Dear Ex. I think in craziness, but I don't know. Our girl actually kills someone, but like the way that our girl in Dear Ex gets other people killed, I think is scarier and crazier. So like, yeah, anyone can knock someone in the head and stab them and shoot them and be like, this girl like instigated a way that her dad gets murdered without her technically doing it. But love Untangled. This was a K movie and cute. I loved it, and I'm gonna put it in the very good category. Very cute. I don't have much to say about it besides I like how it was told. I liked the ending. It was a happy, sweet K-drama. It's just another one that kind of the final answer as to why our male lead is the way he is, and how that develops with them going back to Seoul and like meeting his father, doctor, which, you know, we don't know really anything about. Ooh, terrifying. But I loved it. Had a great happy ending. Okay, The Witch. I would actually put The Witch down as the letdown. What did I rank it? I gave it a 6. Yeah, not my favorite K-drama of 2025, that is for sure. The Witch, yeah, I'm gonna put it in the letdown. You know, the premise had good intentions, and I don't know, the fact that it was supernatural, but then they're like, there's math involved, like there's always an algorithm or a way to get around it. And then the final, like, well, she has to love you. That's how you can survive being close to her. And I'm like, what the fuck? That is the weirdest, and like no real answer as to why it is that way. Very witchy, but like, oh, we have a solution though. Roy Jung-yu, she was the female lead in this, and though I liked her character, I really knew nothing about her, and looks like I have not watched really anything that she's been in. So I don't think I was a fan of her. I just wasn't familiar with her, and so The Witch was a letdown for me. Unwritten Seoul. Definitely one of the ones that made me cry the most, and just sweet. I loved that we got 2 Park Bo-youngs because she plays twins. Park Jin-young, mwah, mwah, like he made up for the witch in this one. And then Ryu Kyung-soo, I think, you don't know what to expect from these characters, but his character was low-key one of my favorites and the funniest. I thought he was great. The moms in this, Jong Young-nam and Kim Sun-young, those 2 women probably made me cry the hardest in this one, okay? This was a very sweet K-drama. I guess it would be like a romance life, hidden identity. We have a twin swapping situation. I did give it a 9.5 because I believe that the grandmother, the sweet, sweet grandma, does not make it, and that pissed me off. It always pisses me off. I always dock a point when the grandma doesn't make it. It's what I do. But it's definitely one that I would consider an outstanding K-drama of 2025. I really want it to be, First Night with the Duke. Okay, this had OK Taecyeon in it, and I watched it for him. And I feel like Guy wasn't even trying. Like, the acting was, like, the romance was there, okay? The character was hot. But it's like he does so many historical dramas. This must have been like a cakewalk for him. I liked his character. And I liked the whole, like, she sleeps with him. It's like, you took my virginity, now we're going to get married. She's like, I did what? Like, the believability of him being a virgin is like, nah, boy, you lying. That's a total effing lie. But I did like the romance between him and Seo Hyun. And then how it ends, like, the ending was kind of like, meh. Was it as bad, though, as, like, Dynamite Kiss ending? No. Okay? If we're going to compare it to that. Or, like, the laziness of Bon Appetit, Your Majesty. Not as lazy, but still, I was wondering. And then the choice of, she stays in the book, because what actually happens that we don't fully realize until very late in this K-drama, which it was 12 episodes long, is she does actually switch souls with the girl that her body, that she inhabits in this historical era that is also in a webtoon. And, like, our other girl who was in the webtoon is in her body in the present day, our world. But they really don't show any of her, which I'm kind of fine with until like the very end. And that was just, okay, that's how we do it. That's how we're handling this. Cool. So they at least had something to the story. Of course, they don't really give an explanation as to the magic behind it, but that's, it's a fantasy genre. Not everything has to be explained. In the grand scheme of all the other K-dramas that I watched this year, what did I rank this? I ranked it a 7. I stand by that for sure. I'm going to say that it was a decent one. It was a decent K-drama. I liked how it ended. It was cute. The drama was fun. Whee! Law in the City. This was a cute law drama. I loved the ensemble cast. Even though it was a romance, the romance was very chill. It was 12 episodes long. I think the comedy was there. There were a group of friends that were also lawyers that ate together. Another great foodie K-drama. And I like that most of it was surrounded about food. Okay, it was surrounded about the table and the food and being with each other. I like how it ended. I liked that it was 12 episodes. I think the length was really good. I really loved this one. I think we watched this one on Twitch together, if I remember correctly. And Lee Jong-suk in it, mwah. Moon Ka-young, mwah. Like the romance and the chemistry there, really great. Kang Yoo-suk's character grew on me the most in it for sure. Ryu Hyo-young, who was also in law school. It's like girls graduated. I loved her character. She was probably one of my favorite characters in Law in the City and her story. And her husband in it is super cute and so tall. Definitely one I wouldn't have watched normally, so appreciate the patrons for voting on that one and us watching that together. I think it was a really good one. So I'm actually going to call it a very good K-drama. Beyond the Bar! This one I watched randomly right before the end of the year. It had been in a few Patreon votes, and it just never made it to the finish line. I'm like, well, I still want to watch it. And I talk about it in the podcast in more depth, but what did I end up ranking this? Because people really loved it. And I would say it was okay. The law aspect of it was nice. I think Jung Chae-yeon's character was very cute, beautiful. The storyline with her sister, I wasn't as invested in that as I think I was supposed to be. Lee Jin-wook's character grew on me. I'm really not the biggest fan of his characters in certain dramas. Like, he's very attractive and he can act. So yeah, I think it just didn't have a cast I was all that wowed with. But Jung Chae-yeon, I'm a low-key fan of hers now. And I did like the story, but I think I'm going to put that it was a good drama. What did I rank it? Yeah, I gave it a 7.5. It was a good drama, when compared to all the 2025s, for sure. Man, I'm really waiting for us to talk about Confidence Queen. Hoping that gets next. Yes. Okay, we can now talk about Confidence Queen. Where do I want to put this? This was a definite dud. It's going dud category tier list for this year. In all the K-dramas that I watched, this one I was like, okay, the premise sounds fun. The premise sounds right up my alley. The execution, the landing, no. It was a major dud. Would not recommend it. I feel really bad about it. And especially because this was like Amazon Prime's first original K-drama. Confidence Queen, definite dud of 2025. Head Over Heels. I loved this one. We do have a time hop situation at the end, but I think that they've wrapped everything up in as neat of a bow as you can in a fantasy romance drama. I like the name of it too, like Head Over Heels, because it really does not give away how supernatural vibes this K-drama is. I like the low-key, like the story between our girl, which she's so cute. Choi Yoon-hyung is so cute. And Chu Young-woo, hot boy, hottie, and I love the two characters that he plays, because obviously he's got like a spirit that inhabits his body, and though it's sad, like what happens there, kind of quirky fantasy, romance drama, I feel like they need to add comedy into it. There was like some really, really funny moments in this. It's got Kim Mi-kyung in it. I did rank it a 7.5. And so like in comparison to the other romance K-dramas, like I definitely wouldn't put it in the excellent. Like I would say the Head Over Heels was a good K-drama, and I look fondly back on it, and yeah, would recommend it. It was good. I liked it. I just feel like the budget wasn't fully there. Okay, 9 puzzles. 9 puzzles had an odd number ending, which is always odd to me still, but it's also 9 puzzles. So it all kind of works out, but it was 11 episodes. One, I will say, this was a thriller mystery crime drama, Disney plus Hulu. Kim Da-mi, I can't imagine any other person but her playing this character. I think she was amazing. Son Soo-koo, I was like neither here nor there, but I think he made a good partner to Kim Da-mi's character. The ending and who the final boss villain was, I guessed pretty, I wouldn't say early, but like I was really getting really sus. And also the person playing that character was the same actor from Undercover High School. So I knew she's played some villainous roles, and she did a fantastic job in this one too. I'm going to call 9 Puzzles excellent. I actually really liked the thriller piece of it. The blood and guts was not as bad, so there's that. I really was very captivated in like what's going to happen next. I think the visuals and the way that like they kind of showed how her mind worked, and the fact that she was like such a young, I think her major was like criminology. Hold on, what did they say her character did? She's a criminal profiler. I love that. I loved the whole thing. Okay, and then last but not least, Study Group, which probably one of my favorite OSTs is from Study Group. What did I rank Study Group? I feel like I ranked it pretty high. I loved the story. Oh yeah, I gave it a 9. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm thinking back now. Yeah, Min Hyung. I would take a season 2 of Study Group. I feel like we're getting one. We have to get one. I would love one. But I would put Study Group as outstanding. Yes, it feels outstanding to me. It was good action. And I think that also rounds out the tier list much better. But yeah, it looks like what happened earlier is I mixed up Tempest and the Weak Hero Class Season 2 posters, because with the actiony vibes, they're very similar. But yeah, that is my tier list, everybody, for the 2025 K-dramas that I watched last year. Let me know your list in the comments below. Thank you so much for staying to the end here of my goodbyes, and I'll see you in the next video or on Twitch. Bye!